Welcome to another edition of the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Raymond Wu. In recent years, we have seen a number of foreign talents that have blossomed on Taiwan television. And today, we're delighted in our program to have Mr. Christopher Downs, a Canadian actor that has settled down in Taiwan professionally as well as personally. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Thanks, Raymond.
Yes.
Nice to be on the
Chris,
show.
maybe we can start out by first asking you, what was your first impression of Taiwan when you first came over 14 years ago?
Very first impression was hot.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, you
very
probably got here in
hot.
summer months.
Yeah, I arrived in May.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
it
That
was
was
already
the beginning of
starting
summer.
to get
yeah.
hot.
Yes.
And from Montreal, from Canada,
Yeah,
in May, I mean, it was still just the end of
quite a change.
the winter.
Yes.
And yeah, hot, but also warm.
Okay.
And the people here are very warm and
Yes.
friendly. I mean, I arrived and people would, I'd say, hey, how do I get to this place? And they'd be like, oh, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And I figured they'd just walk over and say, you just go that way. But they would like walk with me, and I'd still be walking with them. They'd be like, where are you from? And talking to me. We'd be walking for 10 or 15 minutes. And they'd be like, okay, it's here.
Okay.
They'd take me walking, you know, through the city until I get to the place where I have to do the show. And they'd say, oh, you're just here. And I'm like, you know, it's 12, 30. Didn't you have to eat lunch or don't you have to work? And they're like, no, it's okay. I can go back.
Okay.
Everybody was so nice.
Going out of the way to
Oh, yeah.
assist you. Yes.
The foreigners in Taiwan, foreigners love Taiwan
Yes.
because the people here are so nice to foreigners.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to learn that. And also, what was your motivation for coming to Taiwan?
I was doing a news magazine television show.
Okay.
Canada has a national magazine called Maclean's TV. It's
Okay.
the Canadian Time magazine.
Okay.
And
then you were doing assignment, I suppose.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I worked as a coordinating producer, writer for them.
Okay. All right.
And they were doing stories on the election of Li Denghui
Okay.
and the cross straits
Okay.
situation.
That was a little bit unstable at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Yes.
That was, everyone was like, "You're gonna go to Taiwan now?" And I was like, yeah. They're like, "But they have missiles. They're
That's
gonna
right.
shoot
There's
them at
gonna be
each
war."
other." Yeah, you're gonna like, "Oh, missiles!" But I arrived and there was nothing going on. Everyone was just doing about the regular
Business as
thing,
usual.
and there was
Yes.
nobody was worried about anything. But so it was
Yeah.
great. It was
Okay.
a good reason to come. And then I just came and I was like, "Hey,"
Yeah.
called the company and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay a little bit longer." Yeah,
Oh, really? So
yeah,
you made the spontaneous decision to stay in Taiwan longer.
Right. Yeah, we don't have a lot of stories going in the summer for that
Okay.
TV show.
Okay.
So, and it was very close to the summer. So I just called the boss and I said, I'm going to stay here for the summer.
Okay.
Maybe learn a little Chinese
Okay,
and
Mandarin, yes.
And so the boss was like, okay.
Uh-huh.
And so I stayed the summer.
Okay.
And then September came and I said, boss, I think you should open an office here.
Okay.
And I'll just stay another year.
Okay.
And I'll help you open the office. So
Okay.
I
So
stayed another year.
Okay.
And then before I knew it, it was 13 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's been some time. And
Yeah.
of course, you start off by teaching some English as well
I
with
also-
the Language Institute here in Taiwan.
Well,
what was your
I studied
experience?
at the Language Institute. I studied Chinese
Chinese
Language
Mandarin,
Institute.
yes.
A friend of mine was opening a bushiban
Okay.
and said, Chris,
Would
could
you
you help
out?
me,
Yeah.
open it up?
Yes.
So I worked with her and,
Okay.
setting up her bushiban in Taichung.
Okay.
And I had another friend who, his father was sick. So he
Okay.
went home to Canada. So he said, Chris, I have a kindergarten class.
Oh,
Can you teach my
Fill
kindergarten
in for
class?
me, yes.
I really wasn't supposed to because my company would not have liked to have known that I was working every day from 9 to 12 teaching kindergarten. But I loved it.
Yes,
The kids were
of
so
course.
cute and so nice. And so that was a lot of fun. I really
Okay.
enjoyed it, yeah.
But let me ask you, how did you make the jump from part-time English teacher and also full-time with the Canadian television magazine and things into Taiwan's TV industry and also entertainment industry?
Well, they were very linked.
Okay.
Because I studied in the English department at McGill University.
Yes.
I studied film and communications.
Okay.
And I had a minor in media education.
Oh, okay.
So originally in Quebec, before I worked with the news magazine show,
Okay.
I also worked with a kids program
Okay.
that taught French kids English.
Okay, good.
And I also worked with CD-ROM companies and Softimage. I did 3D animation and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so quite a bit of film credits.
Yes. Well, not a lot of film credits, like games and stuff like that for
Okay.
kids and stuff.
Good.
So they were related.
Okay.
It was able for me. I thought, now I'm learning how to teach kids English.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can take my TV background and make educational TV programs.
Okay, good.
So then I started working with Dongsan at Yo-Yo ABC.
Okay.
And then I also worked with Chao Hu, you know, and I worked with different programs to create different educational shows.
Yeah. But I can see from your resume there, Chris, in the last 14 years or so, you've developed a whole spectrum of your specialties on television, including shows and programs and TV drama, and also you also host a number of different dialect based programs on television here. Yeah. That's a full spectrum. How did you get into it? And also commercials. You shot a few commercials in Taiwan as well. Well, how did that all come about?
I actually went to go back to Canada.
Okay.
And I got a telephone call asking me to come in and try out for a film role.
Oh, okay, good.
For Zhongying.
Oh, okay.
The
Central
Motion Picture Company. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I went in and I tried out. And the two directors, and one of them said, "Wow, you're really good at acting." The other one said, "But you don't fit the part. I want an older guy who looks kind of run down with long hair." And so I said, "Okay." I said, "Let me come back in a month and try again."
Okay.
And they were like, "No." But then the producer outside said, "Come back and try again." So I went home and I ate, and I got fat.
Really? Just for the role?
Just for the role. And I let my hair grow long, and I grew a beard.
Okay.
And I went back a month later, and one of the directors recognized me immediately. The other director, the one who said, "No, I want this kind of guy," he didn't recognize me. And after I did the audition, after I did the audition, he was like, "You're the guy I want," And I was just like, "Yeah." Okay. So it was kind of funny to tell him, "Hey, I was that guy that was here a month ago."
Yeah. So that's how the whole thing got started.
That's how that got started. Okay. And then from that, I went up to commercial. And then commercials, I was doing pitching children's programs. And,
of course. Yeah. But the thing, that people often talk about today is, your marriage to another leading TV personality in Taiwan, Miss Huang Jiaqian. And would you mind sharing with us, how that whole thing got started?
Sure. I mean, I'm studying university and studying film, and then did all these years of, working hard. I was a producer and a script writer, and I'm an actor. And after all that time, I'm Shaq Ali, but then suddenly, I'm no longer Shaq Ali. I'm Huang Jiaqian的老公. I'm Phoebe's husband.
Did you guys meet on the program or through the introduction of a third party or something?
Yeah, when a friend of mine asked me from Canada, she said, "How'd you meet your wife?" I said, "Well, I saw her and I jumped out of a car and I grabbed her and I tied her up and then I brought her to a motel." And it's one of those ones you drive in, you go to the second floor, and I brought her up to the second floor and I put her in a chair and I asked her a bunch of questions. And she didn't answer the questions the way I liked, so I threw her out the window. Okay. She was looking at me like, and I was like, "I swear to God, it's true." Okay. And she was like, "What? It's true?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's true." But I mean, that was the role that I played in the I'm Annio. So I was the bad guy, and I was supposed to kidnap her, and so. And then John Benyu, who was filming more of the stuff with me in that show, our part was together. She also did the movie with me a few years back with the Central Motion Picture Company.
Exactly.
So she kind of started pushing the two of us together.
Okay.
So
I want to ask you then, how's your adaptation process, if you want to call it that way, as a foreign spouse in Taiwan, in terms of making the adjustments, culturally and also in terms of the environment?
Not so much of a difference. I mean, pretty much.
Because you've been in Taiwan years before your marriage.
Her family also is very Western. Okay. They're Christian. Okay. And so a lot of Christian learning involves a lot of Western thinking. So it wasn't a big stretch for them. Okay. Luckily, I was accepted by the family. I have some foreigner friends who were like, "No, you're not marrying a foreigner." But most Taiwanese families have no problem with it, which is a lucky thing.
Yeah. How about your own family?
Yeah, they loved her.
Okay, good.
So yeah, it's great when you marry someone from a different culture. Yeah. And you get the chance to bring them back, and then they get to enjoy your culture. Yes. And your family gets to enjoy it. My parents were just here for 5 weeks. Okay, good. And they were walking around in Taipei and eating all different kinds of food. And I said to them, we're working during the day. What are you doing? They're like, "Oh, we just walk around." And if we looked lost for 1 second, people come running up. "Can I help you? Can I help you?" Oh, yeah. They were just amazed by how nice people were here. And they went to Thailand. Now it's not a good time to go to Thailand with the whole disruptions and stuff. But they were like, we've been to some other countries, and no one's been as nice as they are in Taiwan.
In Taiwan, okay.
So nice.
Okay. And did you think that there was anything that you needed to, make the adjustments? I mean, maybe not so much in the, marriage life itself, but in terms of how you, want to excel on the next level professionally. With the marriage, into a different culture, would that help, or does that serve as a hindrance?
I think usually as an actor,
yes.
once you're married,
yes.
it hinders, especially for the wife too. I mean, because you're taken off the market, as it were.
Yes.
I like doing kids shows,
mm-hmm.
So I don't really mind. It doesn't matter if I'm married or I'm not married for
okay.
doing kids shows.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife is not. Her persona
yes.
is not, like the sexy, try to pick up guys kind of persona.
Okay.
She goes for the friendly and funny.
Yeah.
And so for her to be married, I think it's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of getting married, I did a TV show where we were talking about foreigners getting married in Taiwan
mm-hmm.
and how easy it is and stuff.
Okay.
And the foreigners, when we were filming, would say to me, I'd say, see, this is how easy it is to get married in Taiwan. They're like, no, it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you just do this stuff. And they're like, no, it's not easy. And then afterwards, I figured out it's actually not that easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an easy process. We're actually,
mm-hmm.
we're not married.
We're
not married.
Oh, in the sense?
We're legally not married in Taiwan.
Oh, really? You haven't
not
registered?
Supposed to say that. I went to register.
Okay, but you
They told me I had to go get some sort of a paper back in Canada saying that I was single.
Okay.
But I'm already married. I can't. So I went back to Canada and asked them for this paper, and they were like, we can't give you that paper because you're already married. You have your marriage certificate.
Okay.
So then I came back to Taiwan and I said, this is my marriage. I'm already married. And they're like, no, you have to go back to Canada. You have to translate it.
Okay.
And then
get it certified by our embassy people.
Yeah. And then
yeah.
So I went to do that, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to take it and send it back to Taiwan.
Okay.
I was just in Taiwan.
That's right.
And so it was just
so you were giving up your red tape.
Very. Usually a lot of things like taxes and all that kind of like visas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in Canada, you stand in line
mm-hmm.
For hours and days. In Taiwan, it's so well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like, you go here, you go there, and everyone's so nice. And
mm-hmm.
But just for the whole wedding thing, ended up being real. I mean, we're still to this day.
Yeah.
We're not married. We're not legally married.
But you're legally married back in Canada.
Everywhere else in the world, we're legally married. But everyone in the world knows we're married in Taiwan.
Yes.
Nobody else in the world knows we're married.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
So, isn't that funny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back on Taiwan Outlook, we'll continue this discussion about marrying to a different culture, or what are the necessary adjustments, if any, that you need to make. We'll be right back.